century BC, the Roman Empire reaches its heyday. Likewise, the strongest empire in the east was China's Han Dynasty, stretching from the western coast of the Pacific Ocean to Central Asia, its culture profoundly influencing that of the east. Welcome to Xuzhou. We hope you enjoy your stay at the origin of Han Dynasty culture. Well, we're finally here in Xuzhou, a place filled with history, especially from the Han Dynasty over 2,000 years ago. So if you're a historical buff, or just a commoner like myself, this is the place to be. Hey, we're here! Welcome to Travelogue's History and Culture series. I'm Yin, and let's check this place out. Xuzhou in northern Jiangsu province is one of China's best showcases of the art, archaeology, and history of the Han Dynasty. Many historical relics and traditions remain in Xuzhou from the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD. Xuzhou used to be the territory of the Chu state in the Qin and Han dynasties. It is located at the midpoint between Beijing and Shanghai. In the center of the city, on top of a mountain, stands the famed horse-taming terrace. According to historical records, this is the site where the ancient Chinese hero Xiang Yu trained his soldiers and horses. At the age of 23, he led troops in battle against the Qin government and crowned himself king of the West Chu. In 207 BC, this Chinese aristocratic general led 30,000 troops to defeat 300,000 of the Qin's troops. After overthrowing the first dynasty to unify the empire, he took power, naming Pengcheng, today's Xuzhou, as the capital. The Xuzhou of the time became the anti-Qin insurrectionary army's base. Here, horses and brave soldiers stand strong, and talented people gather in one remarkable city. The horse-taming terrace became the legendary Xiang Yu's training grounds, an energetic place where men crowded around. Today's horse-taming terrace is a peaceful place. On the top of this mountain, no traces of a single horse, only stone tablets that remind us of its past. Horsey? Hey, Horsey, come back! I think I've lost my horse. Well, actually, there shouldn't be any horses here today because this site is used only to commemorate Xiang Yu, the great general. However, this great general was defeated by another greater man. Who is he? We'll have to take a look. I gotta get my horse. Horse? Wait! Wait! Well, I didn't find my horse, but caught a bus to Pei County in the suburbs of Xuzhou. This is the hometown of the first emperor of the Han Dynasty, not Xiang Yu, but Liu Bang. Liu Bang was once a low-class official in Pei County, later joining the insurrections against the notorious Qin Dynasty and growing in power. He eventually became the main challenger to Xiang Yu's power. In 20 BC, Liu Bang finally defeats Xiang Yu, uniting China and establishing the Han Dynasty. And in order to commemorate his achievements, the Chinese people constructed the Temple of Liu Bang, Han Hun Palace, and so on. From these structures, we can sense the simplicity of its style and the prevalence of terraces. People believed these terraces would bring them closer to the deities, allowing them to communicate with the heavens. The Ode to the Wind Terrace was the location where Liu Bang celebrated his victory. During the merriment, he left the world with Ode to the Wind, expressing the heroism of a king who performed meritorious deeds. Today's Pei County is a home of Chinese martial arts. Speaking of martial arts, one man comes to mind. Who else but Bruce Lee? Well, let's see these guys show us some real stuff. Many people start practicing martial arts at a young age. A few pointers only show me how difficult Chinese martial arts is. Martial arts is also reflected in stone sculptures. Images like this were a popular tomb decoration in the Han Dynasty. And 2,000 years later, the stones show us the lives of people in the past. The simple pictures on the stone are similar to comic book pictures. This carving shows 4 people meeting, walking in line, fighting, and bidding farewell to each other. Here, the man is enjoying time at home with his wife and child. What is going on in the kitchen here? Aha, it seems barbecue had already sizzled taste buds 2,000 years ago. Let's see what else they have around here. New artistic techniques were also introduced. See how this man has 2 noses? Well, it's a profile and front view that hint at the movement of the face. In this stone sculpture, the artist used different ways to display the strength of these mighty men, carrying livestock and heavy tools. What a creative way of showing the strength of these mighty, mighty men. And what about this creature with a snake's body and human heads? It's Fuxi Nuwa, the legendary Chinese father and mother. They're comparable to the West Adam and Eve.
These stone inscriptions are from the Han Dynasty, and they tell little stories. For instance, the soldiers here are riding on their horses to get into town. And the local residents are cooking and getting water and going about their daily lives. But did you know that these inscriptions are found within the tombs? The emperors wanted to take these depictions of daily life into their underground resting world, their final resting place down here.
Here lies the underground tomb of one of the Chu princes and his wife. The Guishan tomb is over 700 square meters, with an area of over 2,600 cubic meters. The construction of the tomb required hollowing out of an entire mountain, and the 2 entrances were dug from 2 opposite directions, joining in the middle of the hill. It's quite mysterious how craftsmen of the Han Dynasty constructed this tomb. According to experts, a project of this scale required 300 craftsmen to work over a period of 10 years. But this tomb does not have the capacity to hold 300 workers at the same time. How did the Chu king solve these problems? more amazing, the tomb of the king and queen have two separate entrances, with a distance of 19 meters between the two paths, separated by 20 degrees. If we extend the path to the west, the meeting point is Xi'an, the capital at the time, and 1,000 kilometers away. How were they able to keep the two paths on the same horizontal plane is a puzzle that we still can't explain. In this meticulous project, the door between the king and queen's chamber is irregular. If this was a miscalculation, how come there were no errors with the other chambers? Questions upon questions appear, and all we are left with are the mystery and wonder towards the craftiness of the ancient people. Xuzhou was home to a succession of the Han Dynasty's most important princes and lords. Living in luxury during their lifetime, they hoped to enter the afterlife in splendor. They constructed tombs around the city and had them adorned with treasures. These underground tomb complexes are now open to tourists, and their treasures are displayed in the Archaeological Museum. Xuzhou has a strong culture of tombs. Through tombs and the objects we find in them, we learn about the customs and lifestyles of the past.
Being a bodyguard sure is exhausting. Luckily, I got these guys right here behind me. Yeah. They served as the replicas of the terracotta warriors that guarded the king's tomb. But to see what they really look like, we'll have to check it out ourselves. Let's go, guys.
Located at the foot of the Lion Mountains lies the Xuzhou Museum of Terracotta Warriors and Horses of Han Dynasty. Terracotta warriors in Chinese literally means military servants, and they serve to guard the tombs of kings and lords in their afterlife. These figurines were rediscovered in 1984 and have been on display in their original place since 1985. These 3,000 figures stand up to 40 centimeters tall. They are all dressed in long skirts and leg protectors. These soldiers are smaller than the perhaps more famous ones in Xi'an, but if you look carefully, they are crafted just as meticulously. They stand at attention in battle formation in the 6 pits, with hands out ready for combat.
These guys are a lot smaller than I had expected. I'd say they're only maybe the size of my forearm. But you know what they say? The strength comes in numbers. And there are a few hundred of these terracotta warriors, all lined up until the back. And if you look carefully, each is designed very intricately. They have different hairstyles, they have different heights, and different facial expressions. So you can only look at this craftsmanship and think, wow, some bodyguards.
In Lion Mountain, there's the tomb of a true king. In the tomb of this true king, we find hidden treasures of the time. The Han tomb lies to the north of Yunlong Mountain in Xuzhou and is 18 meters below ground. It was the burial ground for aristocrats in the Eastern Han Dynasty. The staff at the mausoleum showed me around the tomb.
这就是内明道。你看这个内明道的上方啊，就是天井。天井的上方啊，距咱们现在站的位置有21米深呢，差不多有现在的7、8层楼。前面就是甬道了。看看。
The coffin chambers are made of bricks and stones, and include the passage, the inner and the front chambers. There are different types of rooms, and the front chamber, you can see the sky view.
这是出土文物最有价值的一幅库，这就是玉府库。你看，像玉枝、玉耳杯，还有金带扣，都是在这里出土的。
这是咱们在博物馆上看到的。
对。
The unearthed artifacts from the tomb include gold, silver, ceramics, and jade articles.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a good look at this cup. It's probably the most prized possession in the entire museum. And it's made out of one piece of jade, but there's a top and a cup, just like this water bottle. The top can be unscrewed off, and inside you'll find grooves here and here. And that's because, well, if you put the cap back on, no spills. This sort of technology back over 2,000 years ago is quite amazing. People today still can't replicate it.
Many articles from daily life are present in the tomb. Vases, pots and pans, and even weapons. Some are for use, and others are merely for accessories. Of all the items, my favorite are the jade articles. Jade has had a history in China of at least 4,000 years. Although other materials like gold, silver, and bronze were also used, none of them have ever exceeded the spiritual position that jade has acquired in people's minds. It's associated with merit, morality, grace, and dignity. In the funeral objects of the people of the Han Dynasty, we can see only high officials were buried with jade articles. As we walk further inside, we can find a living room, dining room, and finally the casket of the king. This is his final resting place, and it's hidden in the innermost chamber.
这是官床，当年消灭西官呢，就摆放在这个位置。楚王玉棺呢，它是内为多层的木质重棺，棺帽上镶着上千片新疆所产的玉片。 楚王当年就安放在这个位置，他身上呢还穿着一件国宝，就是金缕玉衣。
The emperor wore garments sewn with golden thread, while kings and princes wore silver-threaded suits. Other officials and nobles wear copper-threaded garments. It is composed of the head cover, face cover, upper garments, sleeves, gloves, trousers, and foot covers.
In Egypt, there were mummies, but the Han emperors had even better treatment. They had these jade suits, like this one over here. And it's made very intricately with small pieces of jade that were stitched together with gold and sometimes silver, like this one. And they fitted the person exactly. If you know how hard it is to make a suit for us today, can you imagine making one out of jade?
Jade suits sewn with golden thread were funeral suits for the imperial family and high-ranking nobles. The suits were made by tying jade pieces together with gold wire or silver wire or copper wire. Clearly, this was a complicated process. The garment also provided a hole at the hand, which allowed a jade pig to be stuffed into the hand of the deceased. The pig represents wealth, so wealth could be carried with the dead into the afterlife. The kings also hoped they would be like the cicada, crawling from dirt to the tree, rising to heaven. The tomb is a microcosm of the king's world, with all necessities and luxuries fit for a king. Of these, you can't forget the music to please the ears. The elite of China have historically enjoyed the pleasures of music. In the tomb, we found the qing and bianzhong. They're like chimes. And music can't go much without dance. The structures reveal the dance movements of the past. Step right up and get the fresh dumplings of the day. That's right, cuisine of the Han Dynasty is delicious and readily available each morning.
Every morning, plenty of people line up right here to get a taste of the traditional Xuzhou breakfast. These pan-fried dumplings date back several thousand years ago. And maybe Liu Bang himself had a taste of these. Who knows? Eating this might leave you a little dry, so you might want to try the traditional soup as well. Let's check it out.
The soup is called sha tang, made with chicken and eggs and many other ingredients in a secret formula. The demand is so great, it's cooked in more of a tub than a pot. It's a traditional treat and is delicious to both young and old.
Well, I'm ready to go.
Of all things, my favorite thing to do is a morning stroll and get a feeling for the real Han culture. Many locals are proud of their hometown, and some keep artifacts of their own. Here, I met a citizen who collects the emperor's robe, sewn with the dragon designs, along with some of the emperor's documents. The documents not only convey orders, but also reveal the art and beauty of all things that touched his hands.
Wonder what this is. Let me ask an expert. 老师，这是什么呀？
这是奉天诰命圣旨，由皇帝下发给这些有功的功臣和功臣的一些这个家庭成员的褒奖令，和诏书。
Along the wall, different types and styles of documents almost seem like a collage of artwork.
In China, we speak the Han language, we write Han characters, and we even call ourselves the Han people. And it's because of the glorious Han dynasty that make us so proud to be Han. Here in Suzhou, we can experience the full impact of that strong Han culture. I'm Yin Chen, and see you next time on our History and Culture series.
In the next episode, we explore the turbulent past of the most famous city of the Three Kingdoms period, Jingzhou.